Hey, Misfits managed nation.
Woo!
Woo! Came strong with that today, girl.
Yay! Misfits
Yeah.
Managed Nation. I did remember to put that on all the things last week so we can start making it a thing.
Right.
I'm excited for tonight. How about you?
Yeah, this is kind of what we talked about a little bit in the back. I mean, we've had some really hard, intense conversations,
Yep.
and I mean, jam packed with authenticity.
Yeah.
So this is a real show, but sometimes you just gotta kick your hair back. No pun intended. you know, and have some fun.
Yes.
Have some fun. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. I mean, we're gonna give you some nuggets, but we're gonna have some fun tonight. And Lauren has brought us such a special guest. So I'm deferring to my partner. And by the way, this is your boy, Coach G. Like and subscribe. Like and
Subscribe and
subscribe.
like
Subscribe and like.
and share.
And this is
To talk over each other and just mix it all in. It's good.
oh.
No, I'm excited because this amazing guest just brings the fun and the joy out in everybody, and you cannot help but just laugh your butt off when she is around because she just has that about her. And I met her at a conference. Her and she was the MC. I was helping run the show, and she and I had an absolute blast. And every time I talk to her, she reminds me that I need to lighten it up and laugh at myself because I tend to be overly serious. And I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit. But y'all, this girl is hysterical. She is an improv teacher. And, well, I think y'all just need to meet her. So let's bring in Miss Mary Hines.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Please open your refrigerator cleaning manual to page 17 for how to get rid of mold.
Oh my God.
You set me up as this like joyful, amazing. So because I'm a comedian, I was like, oh, thank you. The bit gate is open. Everyone walk right on through. Come on
Walking
in.
on through. Come
on
girl.
in. Get yourself a shady spot. Have some lemonade or some iced tea. Thank you so much, Lauren. And thank you so much, Coach G. I'm so honored to be here. I feel like it's such a vital time for all of us to super power, skill swap, and hive mind and mastermind and tribe up. And oof, we all need each other now more than ever. It's not a joke, y'all. Like it's
all of the above.
It's not a joke. So who am I? Wow, who am I? I am Mary Hines. I use she, they pronouns. I am a professional improviser and comedian. I'm classically trained. I've lived and studied in Ireland and Russia. So my improvisational education comes from a strong theater background. And I also have a big love for stage management. And then I discovered improvisation. I took a free sample class at Gotham City Improv when I moved to New York with $2,000 and a place to live in Bed-Stuy for 2 months. I just leapt. I was like, I need to go. Now's the time. Took an improv class and I felt like I had taken my first breath of air. I was like, this is my jam. This is my thing. So typical misfit. I found my thing. It's mine. You can't take it from me. And so that's the beginning. Fast forwarding to where I'm at now. I'm a 6-year faculty member with the Second City. I teach improvisation, acting. I work with adults. I work with youth and teen. I'm also a virtual stage manager and producer. I was one of the people that created that role of virtual stage manager during the pandemic with a few wonderful other intrepid ladies and a great guy at Second City. We were like, how do we keep theater vital? How do we have a theater to go back to? And I leapt before I knew where I was going to land. So I'm a creator, producer, director, teacher, MC, joy worker extraordinaire.
Yes.
Period.
No, exclamation, Mary.
Exclamation point. You're right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
But see, is she not like just like we always talk about all the things? All the things. She does all the things.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
here's the
loving it.
thing about doing all the things. I was just talking with someone today, and they were having a really hard time. And so I held space to listen to them, and I told them about some of the things that are going on underneath the pink hair, right? Underneath the surface of how I present, like what, the petri dish of the inside, all the messy yuckies. And she said, "Wow, I'm so amazed to hear of some of the things that you have struggled with and are conquering because you seem so perfectly balanced to me." Two thoughts here. First one is, sucker, joke's on you. The second
gotcha.
gotcha. The second one is, thank you. I cultivate my spirit all day, every day. Yes. Yesterday, here I was feeling sad. What did I do? I bought myself flowers. I got groceries.
Wow.
I gave some of those groceries to someone I saw on the street who really looked like they needed some help. I came back and I turned on Janet Jackson Design of a Decade, and I danced with abandon because that was the self-care that I needed. So that's being romantic with your spirit, like tending to what gives you power. And for me, my power is in joy. Exclamation point. Lauren.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard two powerful things there. I
Only
love
two?
how, well, several, but I mean, they really.
Only?
You make me forget my point. I should have
That's
written
it. Oh, we snorted. We're 8 minutes, 22 seconds in, and we got one snort. Snort count.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We're doing the short count, and I see that Mary's already causing trouble and everything. But like I said, I've got friends that are in the improv game, and one of them actually was out of California, and they talked a lot about politics, and they even talked because I know that both Lauren and in the past, he's not currently, but definitely Coach D has been in that marriage realm, but I know that Mona Sheikh, who is of Middle Eastern descent and all along those lines, she oftentimes talked about what it was like to be single during the pandemic, and that became part of her routine and all along those lines. So I just wondered your thoughts about this notion of even using comedy to survive in the rough world of dating and life, and yes, even if you have a other half, what that's like as well, because I know that Mona Sheikh is out of the West Coast, if I remember correctly, but she's very much into that podcasting world and is a podcasting superstar that I've known for a while and everything. But I just wanted your take on this because that is a conversation that comes up on this show and other shows as well.
Wow. Let's just go ahead and go down the M1 at 120 and talk about dating. That sounds great. Dating, improvisation. Thank you. And also, yes, shouting at your friend and celebrating and lifting each other up. That is where it's at. Wow. So what I heard you say, distilling it, is improvisation and dating. How are they adjacent? How do they support each other? First thought is the core theory, the core root of improvisation is yes and. Yes and, it's so big and buzzwordy. People are like, yes and. It means something different to everyone. Here's what it means to me. Yes and means that you do not need to like the offer that you were given. You do not need to like the information that has been thrust upon you. However, you must accept that it happened and build on it. So let's say I'm on a dating app and I'm looking for someone to take me out for tacos, right? And I'm looking, and somebody says something really icky and yicky that I would have rather they not said. I must, yes, right? So I accept that they said that thing and I build on it. So we also say in the Second City philosophy, bring a brick, not a cathedral. So if I'm out on a date, I am the Vatican, right? I'm a whole freaking work of art. You're welcome. However, I get to bring myself, and then I get to offer one brick at a time, right? I get to build with my scene partner, who would be my date, so to speak. So it's so important to yes, to receive the information that's been given to you and add from it so that you can build with authenticity. Period. Yeah.
That's good.
I like
That was
that.
great.
Good. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. And also another just fun comedy route, like it's playing different characters. You can be a different character. Like it's kind of like, how many hearts do you want to break? What are you into? You can play. I like to say we are a diamond, right? And there are always different facets to our diamond, even in how Lauren moms and how Lauren socializes, right? How you are at the DMV might be a little bit different than how you are at a friend's barbecue in the backyard. So whatever facet of yourself you are choosing to radiate from, play around with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Explore
sense.
different aspects of yourself. Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense. You earlier in the show, and then I'm gonna bounce off and let them take it back and everything. But when we first started, you mentioned this notion of politics, and I know a lot of people are upset because there's this whole notion of division and everything. And I'm going like, well, she just came out and was ready to go tackle the MAGA people and maybe some of the AOC people as well and everything. So I was wondering, how do you deal with that political divide in your comedy and everything? Because there's all these people that are getting these crazy attitudes.
I would imagine that's one of the safe places, right?
What, Coach G?
I would imagine that's one of the safe places that you can do that, and people don't really judge you. Am I right on that? Wrong on that? I don't know.
There's a couple different. There's two roads in the woods here we could diverge down on this.
Okay.
I will say something that I feel inspired to say, Mark, is that it is very easy to feel powerless and allow worry to leak from you like a flat tire.
Right.
That is easy. The more challenging thing is to lean back, sit with yourself, whatever your self-care practices are, leaning back in yourself, breathing and assessing, where do I have power? Where can I actually do something? How am I able to use my skills and abilities to make a positive impact to make my world and the world of my peers a better place? Pause. And it's going to be different for everyone, right? For me, when I do that work consistently, I think every day I do this and check in with myself. And for me, I know that no, actually, yeah, even right now, notice how, here's another a thing on that too. How you hold your body tells your brain how to respond. Notice that in my kinesthesiology, I leaned back because it's a physical lean back, which then allows a brain lean back where you allow space and room to think, hear, and respond to yourself. So if my dear listeners, you are finding yourself feeling really stressed out, crunchy, twisted, and take a big sip of air in through your nose, out through your mouth, and be aware, what is your body doing? Are you crunched over in bed? Are you hunched into your phone? Right? So that's that. And also joy. For me, I have power in joy. Like, for example, I'm calling something that I'm working on now joyful activism. There's a branch of my work that I'm calling joyful activism. And I have this puppet named Henry. And I had this great idea to do this show called Henry Helps. And Henry is his canon is he's an exchange student from Phasopolis who came to LA to work on his acting career. And Henry loves to help, but Henry doesn't really understand human culture, so he gets things wrong and he takes things literally. I just put out the first one. It's a 3-minute little thing. And to me, it's joy, right? Like, how can we have joy? And also another thing I did too is I ordered a tank top, a Schoolhouse Rock tank top. That's like a king sitting back on a throne who's all like, like Hamilton style, like king. And then on the other side, it says no more kings. So that is my personal way of being a joyful activist. You're going to get a smile from the cartoon, and then you might see the no more kings. And what if it makes you think? What if it makes you mad? What if it makes you feel? And those feelings inspire you to action.
I like that. I
Let
like
me get my
that.
head wrapped around that for a minute.
I
Get it
know.
wrapped
Got to
around.
chew. Got to chew.
Get all the flavors.
I'm like, wait, what?
And it's fascinating because it's something that's new to me. Like another thing that I've been working on too is really ramping up my activism and allyship for the Jewish community. And I'm like, I felt so in the world, I have felt so helpless recently. Like, what can I actually do? And my wonderful
That's
friend,
actually powerful. Yeah.
it's very powerful. And I felt sad, mad, regretful, shameful, like that I'm not doing more with the privilege that's available to me. Right. I felt like, oh my gosh, but I don't have money. Like I'm on food stamps right now, being an artist in LA with work being challenging. Like money is not what I have to give. So I'm like, well, what can I actually do? My friend Yuval David is an amazing actor and activist, and he was speaking at an event at the Jewish National Fund, and I hadn't seen him in forever. And he said, Mary, please come. And I spent more money than I had to spend to make my donation for the ticket, and I was there. My friend needed help and support, and I showed up for him. Activism and allyship. It means it can be as simple as putting a heart on someone's post. You know, it's really, it's not about like freaking changing the world. It's doing something now with what you have available to you. And it's different for everyone, and it should be different for everyone.
Right.
Because we're all different.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm loving that everything I'm hearing you're saying is how you held space for different people in different situations, and also how you held space for yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just loving.
As I wave my selenite wand too. This is another thing too. I think running adjacent to the Misfit line of the Misfits managed, my entire life and to this day, I have been bullied and harassed for being too big, too loud, too much, too. My family used to literally go when I was talking, and I didn't realize the weight of that damage until I'm older. Right. And also the fact that I didn't come out as pansexual until 2 years ago because I didn't feel safe, because I felt so, well, if I'm being punished for laughing, literally being like you're being shushed for laughing. Right. Well, okay. Deductive reasoning. If I'm being shushed for laughing, then if I come out as not what my family thinks I should be, what will happen then?
Right.
Yep.
So it's about knowing where your power is and letting yourself be a misfit, because we need all the different types of people.
Yeah. Letting that shine through.
Mm-hmm. And also, when you stand in your lane and when you shine bright unabashedly, it gives people who see and hear you the permission to do the same.
That's where I was just about to go. I love how you said letting yourself be a misfit. That you don't need permission. You don't need society. You don't need, your parents. You don't need government. It's a God ordained gift to you to be who He created you to be. So I love the power in that.
There's so much there's so many tendrils of shame and worry wrapped around of what is my life supposed to be? What is it supposed to look like? And it's really so much of our work as humans on planet Earth is surrendering the programming that, while it was well-meaning, it was plugged into us from our dear, wonderful parents who also didn't really know what they were doing. Right. Bless their hearts, right? So it's
in the Matrix.
I found the more that I allow myself to say and do and be the things I've always said and been and wanted to, the happier I am. And the more abundance flows into, through, for, and from me.
Yes.
And there's oh yeah, Lauren, please. Yes.
So you're telling me that the more you embrace all those beautiful quirks, the more you sit in that lovely misfitty glitter.
Misfitty glitter. Hot shit. I love that. Sorry. It's just poop. It's okay. I'm listening. Sorry. I love that.
But the light shines on you and it shines more abundantly off. I don't know where that came from, but I love it.
Well, we're just coining all kind of terms.
Well, I think it's
Is
amazing.
it every week we coin a new term?
And you never know how your choices of love and bravery are going to be the thing that someone needs that changes their day.
Yes.
I'm a big fan. Oh, go ahead.
No, I love the simplicity of the things that you do that society would think that's nothing, but
it's everything though.
It is so powerful because it's so simple. It's authentic. It's real. It's what people need. They don't need more money or more stuff. They need someone to be real with them.
So here was yesterday for me. I had gotten some really challenging news about my living situation that had me in a place where my power was leaking, like that tire. So here's what I did. I turned on energy clearing music, and I sat and I meditated, and then I took myself to the grocery store and I looked up and I was breathing, and there's an improvisation, one of the coaching things I say, send out your sight, receive what you see without judgment, allow what you see to be seen, send out your hearing, allow the sounds that come to you to be heard. So I was practicing what I coach, and so I could feel my spot. I felt the lift, right? I felt like my cork coming to the top of the surface. So then I was taking inventory of how that felt, right? Okay, good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I go to Trader Joe's. Outside of Trader Joe's, I see a woman with a sign who's asking for help. And my intuition, and I'm really good with my spidey senses. I lived in New York. I lived in Chicago. I saw this woman, and something in me said, go to her. So I did. I went to her, and I said, I didn't even say hello. I smiled, and I said, what's your favorite beverage? And she's like, I really love an iced coffee. And I was like, you want to I'll get you like the triple, the oat milk latte one. She's like, that sounds awesome. And I was like, but that's not enough. You need something hydrating. What's your favorite hydrating beverage? And she said she liked watermelon water. And I said, okay. And I went in and I was getting my groceries, and I just coffee and watermelon. It's not a big deal. However, it is a huge deal because this woman is invisible, and I saw her, and I let her know that I saw her. And I'm not like, here's $100, bless you and keep you safe. What I could afford to do to help was a coffee and some watermelon.
Powerful.
While I'm not done yet, Coach G, because it keeps escalating, right? So I'm getting my coffee and the watermelon. And there's a woman that I've seen at Trader Joe's before she works there, and she's always got this really pleasant attitude. And one of my philosophies is, if you see something, say something. I saw she's packing out the little sodas and putting them in the refrigerator. And I looked up at her and I said, hi, I see you often. And I just want to let you know, you always have such a joyful spirit. And whenever I see you, you always make me smile. Conversation ensues for the next couple minutes. And she says, you know what? Thank you so much for saying that. I was having a really hard day, and I really needed that. Even though Mary, cut back to like an hour and a half ago, was in a sad, mad, scared place. But just because I'm sad, mad, and scared doesn't mean that I can't also rise out of that into joy and allow myself to be called to do little things.
Right. That's powerful, man. I love that.
And then you see your power back, and then you're sending out, I think now in the world more than ever, it's like the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, God and Satan, the divine dichotomy. It's been since being has been, right? It is a thing. We always have that. So for me, it feels like the dark is like, I'll be like, hey, you calm down. I'm going to throw some light sparkles at you, and you're going to get out of here, little guy. Nobody invited you, right? So to me, it's like, well, some people might be like, that's not enough. It's a lot. And we don't get to sit around being complicit and complacent anymore. We don't know. I'm sorry. You don't get to do that anymore.
Nope. Man, that's such a beautiful story.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful mindset. Yeah. I love that.
Jinx, You
I
know
can
what?
see Lauren's wheels the whole time. I'm sorry, I haven't.
yeah.
You haven't. I feel like Lauren hasn't spoken enough, but I get on. I don't know. I get on. I'm on him anyway. I'm gonna.
Hey, this is to introduce you. Like, I mean, that is the purpose of this show. Is
This
to
is about you. We just want to highlight what you feel and think. So.
it is to explore you and all of your misfit sparkliness. No, I love that because I think you're exactly right that we always think that it has to be some big grand gesture or some big amount that we have to do for somebody, and it's not.
Yeah,
It's really
always
not.
the simple things.
So when you're talking about that, I was laughing because something similar-ish last week happened, and I was supposed to go meet somebody for lunch. Plans changed. So I still went, not to meet that person. I went and just sat by my lonesome because I'm like, all right, I'm feeling this pull to go there. So I'm like, all right, here we go.
Trust it.
And so I sat down and I'm thinking, who's here that I need to run into? I'm going to like sit there and, do my thing. And I'm sitting there and all of a sudden she was elderly, but she worked there. And she comes over and goes, "Dear, what's your name?" And I said, "Lauren." And so we go into this whole conversation and she goes, "No, you sit there and you do what you need to do." She goes, "I am here to serve you. Do you need anything? Can I clear your plates?" And I'm like, this is Panera. You don't like.
That's a Michelin star Panera.
It's not her job to clear my plates. But I said, "Oh, yes, thank you." And I said, I asked her, I'm like, "Hey, I also got a brownie," because I freaking love Panera's brownies. And she goes, "Let me go check on that for you." She comes back with a brownie and a cookie and another bag for my bread that came with my bowl. And she goes, "You shouldn't have to wait, but thank you. Here's this for making your day better." So she and I just like sat there and we ended up talking about family, faith, God, everything. And I'm just like, but it was one of those things, right? Like,
Lauren, what the story that you told is transacting in joy and abundance.
yes.
I got that transacting in joy and abundance from one of my friend tours, friend plus mentor equals friend tour, Scotty Watson, that I learned that. And it's an improvisational philosophy that I have now adapted into a life philosophy. And I've yes anded that to where I call it the joy transaction.
Yeah.
You are transacting in joy. And you can feel it. It's an effervescent.
Yeah.
Also, drop that. Give me the beat. Bow, 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 right. So there's a there's a lift that happens, and when you get that momentum and you have that the logs on the fire, ride it. So then to yes and that the next thing is go on Google, write a review for that Panera, and mention her name.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm saying like that's how we continue to yes and it, right? And continue to transact in joy.
Well, you know what I did?
Tell me.
I was joking around and she goes, "Come back and see us." And I said, "You're the reason that I will." And she goes, go tell that to my boss." And she was totally kidding. You want to know what I did?
Yeah, you did.
Went and told her boss. And he was like not rolling his eyes, but he was kind of like, "Yeah, okay." And I was just like, "She's awesome." I was like, "I want you to know she's awesome. She just made my day." And
then how that woman feels now when she goes home, or maybe it's these like I don't know. I lose my eloquence on it. It's a beautiful, miraculous thing, and you get to let that joy live in perpetuity.
Well, Mary, what do you feel like has happened to us
To
as a
you?
society? No,
Yeah, to us.
I'm talking about us as a society, in particular, United States. Um, the power of joy. I mean, because I just think about, I'm 53, and life was so much lighter as a kid than it is now. And even for our kids now, when you say the power of joy and you're talking about joy transactions, I'm sitting here chewing on that. It's like, do we have those anymore? Do
Well,
do we
here's
slow down enough to even have those interactions?
I think, well, actually, I know that fear is a thief of joy. And
Yes.
Mhm.
there is a mythology that if I am joyful, I am being childish. However, what if instead of being childish, you were childlike? I'm
Yeah.
still transacting in my day to day human stuff on planet Earth. I'm on my payment plan to the IRS for my taxes. I put on deodorant. I'm still humaning, right? I'm not saying that I'm like sparkle unicorn every day. It is you still have to do the human things,
Right.
but it's about how do you do them.
Come on. I'm
Improv.
loving this.
I know you better believe it. So improvisation, the foundation of improvisation, at least how I teach it and what I perpetuate, the torch that I pass, is from the great goddess grandmother Viola Spolin. Viola Spolin created these theater games for the classroom that were originally devised for and with immigrant children who do not all speak the same language. So it is this philosophy of getting back to play, getting back to joy. And for
Yeah.
me, and I guess in order to do, I guess I think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs a lot. And if
Yep.
your bandwidth is gunked up with worry about, am I going to eat today? It's a legitimate fear I have often, right? I've got a very real situation and I'm in acknowledgement. I'm like, okay, do I have a protein shake or do I get to make fancy ramen, right? So it's how can we find joy along the way? Like, how can we get ourselves lifted? Because fear is a thief and it takes our power away. So, maybe it's just inviting, I don't know. Fear just takes away everything. So, how can we be curious? How can we be kind? When we're walking down the street to go to work and a raven stops on that bench, what if you allow yourself to say, hi, good morning, buddy? Great. That's a little spark, right?
Right. Right.
You don't need to gaslight yourself into being like, it's the Muppet Show. Like, just be more open to curiosity and play during your day to day. Oh, that's a soundbite. Be more open to curiosity and play on the day to day. You're welcome.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Mark,
that.
you like
Yeah,
it?
I
That
probably
that,
back in
that,
on that one and everything because as I've
that brought
told,
Mark back.
yeah, as I've told Coach G and Lauren as well, I actually do that, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. So yeah, if I see a robin or if I see a rabbit, I've actually had a conversation with them. Not that I expect them to answer me back, but it's just good to know that to acknowledge they're there. Matter of fact, I saw one yesterday, and it looked like it was a little bit puzzled because we had a rainstorm in the middle of this heat storm and everything, and it looked like the robin was trying to figure out whether it wanted to take a bath or not in the puddle that was
Sure.
there. I was like, hey, the robin is trying to make a life
You're like, my
decision.
guy, I'm trying to take a shower. Why are you talking to me?
Exactly.
Do you see my feathers? Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. I look terrible.
Exactly. That's what the robin gave me that look like, why are you talking about me? You know that I'm trying to take a shower and I wouldn't observe your shower, so why are you trying to observe my
Freaking
shower?
hairless monkey. Get out of here.
Whoa.
Exactly.
I
Oh,
love it. Exactly my point.
Yeah, and just having that conversation was good. Everything. I don't know if you saw in the chat, but I know that folks are just chuckling because I was chuckling in the back and everything. So, is there a way that if somebody is going to California, because it sounds like that's where you are now and
That's
everything.
where I am. I'm in Los Angeles.
They can see you perform and all along those lines, because actually I think Monica Shake and Jacoby, who I'm hoping they'll still join us at some point, his sister is actually Janora McDuffie, and she's out in California as well and everything. So she was actually on Grey's Anatomy, if I remember correctly, and all along those lines. But she's definitely been out there for a while. But one of the things that I'd asked was, isn't part of being a misfit, and this is for everybody, about fighting against the box? Because a lot of times we're too busy trying to get placed in the box, but it seems to me that part of being a misfit is fighting against that whole notion of what box you're going to be in, like whether you're going to be in the category of the professional, you're going to be in the category of the student, or whatever and everything. But I'm just wondering your thoughts around that, and if the other folks want to jump in as well, because I'm going like, that seems to be the whole purpose of the
I got you. I feel like it is less fighting against and embracing of. It is less about fighting against and more about embracing. So, for example, if I'm in a scene and my coach, my director says, don't do that. Well, you can feel that, but well, you just told me not to do something. So what if instead of telling me don't do something, tell me to do something to replace it? So to me, it's less about, and also everyone's got a journey of their experience of empowerment, and you get to honor each step along the way because they are all super vital and valid. It's embracing of yourself. And I think a lot of the work is going back to your inner child and holding that inner child and being like, you're safe, you're okay, you're good. Like, I think it's more about like healing and nourishing and celebrating who we are at our most happy, vibrant, and vital, and giving ourselves permission that we are enough. And that the process is the product. It's over when you're dead. It's never done. It's never right. The process is the product. And you can follow me at Mary Hines at Instagram. MERRYMARYHYNES. And then I've got shows around. I'm always doing stuff around LA, so I always post what I have going on there. If I'm performing with my duo, or if I'm doing solo work, or what have you. I'd love to coach G, Lauren, and your thoughts and feelings.
Well, my first thought was rip the damn box up.
Rip the dang box. Oh, because when you order something from Amazon again, you're going to get another box. So you don't need to keep that other box. You're going to get another box.
I like where you went with that, because I was like, all right, if we're going to embrace the box, how are we going to embrace the box? And I'm thinking, okay, if we're going to be given a box,
put stickers on it.
Decorate it.
Decorate. Get some stickers and markers.
Like stickers, markers, paint. We got all sorts of things. Not in the. I mean, heck, when I grew up, it was Lisa Frank.
Me too.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you don't have to stay in the box, but go make it pretty where you are. Make it look like you. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Find the joy in that box. And then be like, look what I did.
I like what you said. Make it look like you. It's like, take the time to figure out who you is.
Yeah.
But doesn't that require us to slow down?
Oh my gosh, no. Must be fast and talking all the time. Must be always high functioning. Never stop, never resting.
Okay.
Here, I kid.
Here's in my head.
Another thing, again, so much of my work comes back to improvisation because I'm a professional improviser. It is allow yourself the permission to be still and silent, because it is in the stillness and the silence where ideas come from.
Yes.
Yep.
So if I am in a scene with Coach G, and if I am talking all the time. Well, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's all just atoms and energy bouncing around. So if I'm filling our scene and the space between Coach G and I with, oh my gosh, there's so much. I have created so much between myself and Coach G that I'm asking him to listen to and be in response with, that there needs to be silence and pause and stillness for him to fully receive the information, to be able to yes and it. So silence is an invitation for engagement.
That's a tweet.
I was gonna say, I was about to be like, you can Venmo me. When I say something philosophical, just because it's what I do, it's who I am. Like, and I'm like, okay, well, that hour conversation is going to be $500. We can do a payment plan or half now, half later. And I'm partially joking because also I know as I say that, someone's going to be like, yeah, absolutely. Who knows?
I mean, not going to turn it down. Hey,
yeah, you put yourself out there.
Your thoughts are not worth pennies. Worth a lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
giving yourself permission to slow down. I think that's a lot of, just thinking in terms of just the last 10 days of life in America, which when people listen to it, it's only going to continue to escalate. So what if instead of feeling imbalanced and like head first and off of your center, what if you could pause and lean back and give yourself some space to process all of these feelings and surrender what doesn't belong to you? Because often a lot of our fears and worries they don't belong to us. They are something that we are processing. So you must give yourself space to process through the information that you have received so that you can, 1, take action, and then 2, receive more information. So if you're constantly, Coach G, to go back to what I think is like wrong in America, hold on, I'm sorry. It's phones, it's media, it's and I have been even finding myself just it's addiction to stimulation.
Yes.
And it's absolutely okay. It's fine. It's great. And then you're aware of it and you're like, oh, my screen time is does not feel healthy.
Yeah.
It's me again and everything, because I was actually thinking about that, because one of the things I've become addicted to, I think I mentioned it to Coach D and Lauren last week, and I realized that the addiction is some of those apps on the phones aren't even always what we talked about earlier, the dating apps. Sometimes they're just fun apps, because I've been lately playing something called Sexy Colors, which if you remember the old color game, and so you're literally painting pictures, but you're painting them according to the colors and along those lines. And I've also been doing the family tree. So sometimes I'm going like, wait a minute, it's like 12 o'clock. Why am I still up here playing this game, which is like colored by numbers, if you remember the old color by number game. But literally they're on the phone and I'm going like, hey, this is fun. I don't know what this picture's gonna come with like and everything, but it's that childlike wonder that you were talking about. So I find myself sometimes at like even midnight going like, oh, let me see, what's the image going to be? It's a person on a motorcycle. Wonder what the motorcycle is going to look like, and all along those lines. But it's that paint by number kind of system that we remember as a kid.
I think it's something like that too. Talking about being a misfit and talk about embracing joy. It's giving yourself permission to buy yourself a paint by numbers book. It's getting yourself some glitter gel pens and some paper and just start doodling, and it doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be perfect. So it's like, instead of like being in your phone and doing that, set yourself up a nice little sanctuary with some music and a beverage of choice, and like if let yourself be childlike and have that fun and give yourself permission to have joy.
So it's okay to be creative and customize your own personal self-care. Is that what you're saying?
Sure as shitting.
That was awesome. Hey, I'm going to put this out there. I have a whole book of glitter gel pens.
Yeah, you do.
As well as a adult coloring book with all of my glittery creations. I don't actually make the pictures. I just color them in, but damn straight I do.
Yeah. I was actually, I was feeling some intense anxiety the other day. And I was like, I just want to color. And then I was like, oh, I don't have a coloring book, but I did have like a couple random markers. So I started doing this doodle and I was like, well, I'll make my own thing to color. So I was just doodling, and there was something that was so healing about it. It was just so nice to like have pen to paper. And
so what you're saying is that it doesn't have to be some fancy schmancy thing.
No.
Yep.
No, it doesn't.
It's whatever feeds your soul.
I think we must give ourselves permission to be messy and bad at something.
Yes.
Like, I'll go back to my concept for Henry Helps, this show. I have had the idea for a while. I played around with a couple of videos, sharing them with friends, and I was just like, I just want to do it. I want to do it. And finally, I was taking I often take like power naps or disco naps. Like I go like meditation that becomes like a 20-minute face shut. That's something that I do to protect my spirit when I am feeling overwhelmed and overstimulated. I just shut down. I'm like, all right, just go on sleep mode. You're going to be fine. And then I was on sleep mode, and it just came to me. It was like, do it now. And I was like, okay. So I recorded this first 3-minute little segment for Henry Helps, and my ego was in there trying to be like, this is bad, this is wrong, this is stupid, this is ugly, you've never done it again. And then I just published it anyway. And thank
Kudos,
you.
I know.
You got to go there to get there. Give yourself permission to be messy. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll never go out there.
Right. I love that.
Go there to get there. Love that.
Coach, doesn't that come back to what I said earlier when I was talking to you about the coach that I ran into, the fellow coach, and how he had a perfect season, but then he ran into somebody that had outcoached him because it was a 10-0 season, and then he ran into the person in the first round of the playoffs, and they knew how to do a slant, so they totally got rid of them in the first round of the playoffs. So I'm sure that those kids were thinking, we're about to be champions and everything, but they got outcoached and all along those lines. So it even comes down to that point as well, because I was thinking about that as she was talking. I was going like, yeah, we can also outthink ourselves.
Life is not linear. It's a heartbeat, and the contrast shows us. It gives us gifts of information. Sorry, Coach G. I didn't mean to speak.
Oh, no. I think, Mark, to your point and to yours, Mary, I think the 10-0 coach probably was in a box.
Mm-hmm.
He felt the pressure of being undefeated and having to perform and having to win, whereas the second coach fell back into probably some creative space and was allowed, because he was quiet, probably allowed him to see some things that the previous coaches didn't see. And he came up with the perfect game plan to totally dismantle this 10-0 and undefeated team.
Right, exactly.
So why can't we just do those things in life? Why can't we be that example of that coach in everyday life, which I think Mary is doing an amazing job of articulating for us. And I love how she's customizing our self-care. You don't have to fit in the box and do what everybody else is doing.
No, and it takes courage to be messy, and it takes courage to be different.
Yes. I'm hearing jewels of the journey, Lauren. I'm hearing lots of nuggets that we're picking up along the journey here tonight.
Oh, I need to find my pen. I don't know where it went. I
didn't bring a pad today. So
I think it's so important
notes on my phone
to have compassion with yourself and compassion with everyone else. And I think if we treat every interaction with a humble heart and an open mind, if in going back to that, we don't bring ourselves as the Vatican, the beautiful cathedral that we are that. We don't need to showcase that we are that. We are the cathedral. So then now that you're here, what if you could build a new cathedral together with this person? One brick at a time. What if you don't know everything? What if you could give yourself the pressure and the release of being like, I am an imperfect, beautiful being. And I'm going to just come here and I'm going to transact in joy and abundance. And I'm going to see, hear, and allow myself to be seen and heard.
Is there a cost to being a person that lives in the power of joy and doing these joy transactions? What does that cost?
The cost is not having a typical life. Like, I know at any moment in time, I could become a professional stage manager. I could give up on the acting dream. At any moment in time, I could settle into a quote unquote normal 9 to 5 situation, and have more financial stability. However, I know that if I do that, I will be very unhappy. And that to me, the work is very spiritual. And God gave me these gifts to be here on planet Earth right now and make a positive difference and be a beacon and a lighthouse to encourage other people to do the same.
I'm just meeting you
So
tonight, and I know that wouldn't feed your soul.
thank you. The cost is
No.
loneliness, to be perfectly honest
Okay.
with you. I feel very lonely often and very sad because I consistently do so much work on myself that I find myself, I'm like, well, who's going to match in romantic, in romantic relationships, who out there will match me where I am and continue to ascend with me?
Wow.
Like, since I am on such a high vibrational frequency of awareness, then that demand, because I'm such a rare, beautiful creature, in order to have someone meet my vortex, they've got to be just as wonderful, which is just as rare. So often times I feel like a lonely unicorn in a herd of horses, and I just want to be a horse, but I can't be a horse because I'm a unicorn.
Right.
I feel like some people might be snickering, like, who is this person? But also,
No,
like,
you're making so much sense.
No, you're making a lot of sense and everything, but
we
I'm
need
just
the
curious.
unicorns.
We do need unicorns, but I was just wondering because I know that I've got a lot of creative friends. And actually, by the way, Toby said he regrets he couldn't make it this time, but he does want to come on a future show and definitely one with you on and all along those lines. But he was doing that dad duty and everything. But I was wondering about this notion of the creatives and how the creatives oftentimes have to do multiple jobs and all along those lines. Because, like I said, I've worked multiple jobs and I've got some friends in the creative space that are doing like Uber and doing DoorDash and doing those things while they're trying to maintain their creativity, but that sometimes pulls them away from their true destiny. So I just wondering your thoughts around that, Mary, because I do think that that's a misfit journey for many.
Very valid point.
Listen, a year and a half ago, I came to LA with a one-way ticket and 2 suitcases. I had some virtual jobs and some things to do, but I knew that LA was the next part of my triumvirate of New York, Chicago, and LA. The goal has always been to mogul between those 3 cities, so it was time to get LA down. Shortly after I got here, the strike happened. I went, oh shit, what is going to happen now? So I made a list of everything that brings me joy. One of those things, and then I looked at that list and I was like, okay, what can I immediately monetize? Because to me, the most important thing is to know your core values, to do things that serve your spirit and your happiness, that give you the energy to be creative and do the work that you want to do. So animals, great. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Rover, great. So I started an account on Rover. And now I got laid off from my day job 2 months ago through ugly corporate things that are affecting everyone all over America. Nothing to do with my performance, but to do with the company, blah, blah, blah. And that pet sitting business that I launched a year ago through fear, I call it the Hollywood Pet Whisperer. And now for 2 months, that is my day job. My day job is my own business, the Hollywood Pet Whisperer. because it gives me joy. It allows me to transact in joy and abundance. I love being of service to my community and my tribe. I can do pet sitting and house sitting. I call myself a house manager for hire. Mary Poppins is what my clients call me. And I'm like, it's perfect. And all I need is a slice of table and a ring light, and I can do my virtual work from anywhere. So I say all that to say, yes, you're going to have to work hard if you want an atypical life. However, making sure that you're working smarter and not harder, and you are doing work that gives you the flexibility or the blah, 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 or the hootie boo. But to me, it's do what brings you joy and lifts your spirit. And so I started a business based off of pet sitting because I love animals.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, Lauren and Coach, I know you still got a few minutes and we can go a little bit over because I don't mind because I'm just sitting here at the Cultural Center and everything. But if it's all right with y'all, and I said that earlier, I might have to kidnap Mary for another show because one of the other shows that exists on the network, ironically, is based out of Los Angeles, and it is a mindfulness type lady named the Color Whisperer. So Jean Chasworth she does the Color Whisperer, which is all about interior designing, but she's also about mindfulness. So I think that you would be a great guest for her, and y'all can talk about the whispering together. So I'm
the answer is yes.
That show as well, and that's every Friday afternoon. So I'll reach out to Jeanette, and y'all might have to have some deep conversation about the whole whispering conversation, because like I said, the show is called The Color Whisperer, and it's every Friday at 2:00. But like I said, I know.
Okay, look at what's happening here.
Yeah, Misfits
connecting Misfits, because I gave myself permission to be my authentic self and speak about the things that I spoke about. Mark honored me by receiving my words and anded himself by allowing himself to be inspired and continue that write a review on Google kind of thing with Lauren's beautiful Panera Angel. We continue to support and lift each other up. Because if I hadn't given myself permission to be the misfit that I am and say the things that I said, you wouldn't have heard me, to think about me, to refer me for this other amazing podcast that I'm looking forward to being a part of. Look at that, everybody.
Well, Mary, I'm going to put a even thicker foundation under that. How did we meet?
Is this a test? Because I know.
No, I'm legitimately saying. So, Coach and I were talking about this earlier.
Lauren, I see your point. Do you see your point? I see your point. I get it. Go ahead. Keep going.
So, Mary and I were at this lovely conference to where she met a mutual acquaintance of ours.
Empowering women in industry, Charlie Matthews, we love you.
# Charlie Matthews. And Mary emceed this
shameless plug
conference, and it was phenomenal because I will never forget how you came out of your shell and you said, "Okay, Charlie, what do you want me to do?" And Charlie says, "Get your butt up there and be you. Just
That's
be."
What she said. She's like, do anything, be yourself.
Yes. And by God, you did.
I sure did.
You were beaming. Exhausted, but beaming, because I was exhausted with you. But she went up there and she just let it flow. And because of that, I got to see Mary. I got to connect with Mary. Granted, we were running the show together, but that's besides the point. And because of that, I got to see her and say, "Mary, I need you on here."
And I said, "Yes, of course, yeah." You always,
like,
we're a tribe now. Whatever you need me to for air, the answer is always yes, Lauren. Just assume that it's yes.
But because of all of those things,
yeah,
you're now here and building.
I love that. I want to say something just to anyone who might be like, "Well, joy is just for playing when I'm with my grandkids." Sorry, I made you sound like that. I love you. Voices, whatever. Anyway, so joy, it can also joy is also used during professional settings. I'm the MC for this big, it was the largest audience I've ever had as an MC. High stakes, really important, all very professional. However, in this professional atmosphere, I knew that what was necessary was for me to be joyful. It was my job. Charlie brought me to be a 6 foot tall powerhouse of permission to be authentic and raw and real and you. And there were some things that I did that if I had allowed ego and fear to stop myself, I would not have done them. But then in doing them, it brought people so much joy. Like at one point when I was bringing people back, I got the microphone to a ballroom of like 250 people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final boarding call for the afternoon session of Empowerment Airlines. Please secure your right. And then I heard the ripples of joy, of laughter, and laughter lifts. Laughter lifts, laughter inspires. It literally creates energy. Just the action of is in your stomach goes, but like it creates energy. So joy, I spent a lot of time processing the shame and the guilt of when does my real life begin? This whole actor thing, like when does my real life begin? But this is my life.
Real life.
Is it just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Speaking of escape from realities, hey, Coach G, you're an actor as well. So when are y'all gonna do a duet and everything? Because she was going, I was like, I think that we need to have a play with Coach G and Mary in a role together and everything. So I know that you are in that space as well. So I'm putting that out there to the universe. I think that y'all need to be in a performance together and all along those lines. So like I said,
she is killing me, man.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I'm down with that. Mary, I just love how you're open. You're open to new possibilities, which this creates more open possibilities. I mean,
because
it's a ripple effect.
I love that, and I thank you for that. And to get the life you've never had, you must do what you've never done.
Yeah. Well, you're manifesting.
I'm actualizing. I'm manifesting. Yeah. I'm receiving. Something I was doing today, I was on my way to meet a new pet sitting client, and I am in love with Los Feliz. There's something about that neighborhood in Los Angeles that I adore, and I'm an acknowledgement of when I am in that neighborhood, I feel light, free, abundant, happy, perky, peppy, ba-da-da-da-da. So I have this, speaking of manifestation, and I added to it today, and this is what I have I have a home in Los Feliz Estates, or a home off of Los Feliz Boulevard between Western and Vermont. I can see Griffith Observatory clearly from my window. I have a beautiful, peaceful garden oasis. I can easily get to and fro where I want to go. There's a perfect and beautiful cross breeze that keeps the house cool and fresh. I have wonderful, caring neighbors and healthy, thriving plants. That house is on its way to me.
Yeah, you're manifesting. Yeah. I love it. Tell me when you get it.
I'm so. I'll have you over.
Yeah, I would say let's do the show from your house.
Yes, from my okay. And there's a beautiful moment here. In this moment here, I felt what feels like the flick of a lighter, or when you pop a champagne bottle, or that of a really fresh soda. Yeah. There's a feeling of that was more like a fart, but farts feel good. There's a
release and release.
There's a click and a lift. So when we feel that lift and that pop, you're doing something right. Unless it was a shark and you should have gone to the bathroom. I don't know.
This show could go on forever. I can tell you that, and I have no problem with that at all. They might want to kick me out of the culture center and everything. So I've been here a little bit longer than
we can wrap up
all along those lines. But
Mary,
just out of curiosity, what is I'm going to actually bring up a question because I know that there are some people, and I've had both, that are cat lovers and some people that are dog lovers. So when you are doing your pet sitting, which is the one that you prefer the most? Because I sometimes think cats are underrated and everything. And then I was also wondering, what's the strangest pet that you ever dealt with? Because I'm sure in Los Angeles there have been some weird pets that you have had to deal with and everything.
I am a Great Dane. personally. Like if my energy, if I were a dog, I would be a Great Dane. 6 foot tall, really big and lopey. I don't really realize how big I am. Like I'm kind of galumpy. I've always really loved dogs. I love dogs and I love cats as well. To me, it's like their personality, just engaging with them and playing with them and being present with them. So I'm not going to limit my client base if anyone listens to this. I love cats and dogs equally. Next question. The
strangest pet that you've seen.
Mark, you said something else that I wanted to. What else did you ask?
That was it. The strangest pet. The strangest pet that you have.
Pet. Yeah. I have a client because if you're the animal, you are the client, and then the human is the parent. Like that's my language around it. So I have this amazing client named Gladys. Gladys is a Amazonian yellow nape parrot. They are very rare and they are very talkative. So Gladys goes from the top of my shoulder up to about mid-temple. She's beautiful. She's an amazing girl. And Gladys sings operatically, chats all of the time. She is absolutely hilarious and very intelligent. So I would walk around the house, and I'm actually going to be sitting for Gladys and her 3 Chihuahua brothers and sisters. I don't know how that works. You do that math. You do that math. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do that math. Figure that out. And I just walk around with Gladys on my shoulder, and just like, you know, I'm realizing at any moment in time, this very big parrot could bite me at any moment in time. But we have a relationship. We have fun. I see her. I celebrate her. I laugh with her. She should be on my shoulder, and I walk by a mirror and I go, oh my gosh. And she like freaks out. Like she thinks something's wrong. I'm like, who is that beautiful girl? You see that girl? And so I have my like on my shoulder, and she's like nestling in my hair and like singing, and like it's so wild. It just so I think Gladys, the operatic singing parrot, would be the most unique. Oh, but no, it's not Gladys. It is Gladys, and it's also Bella the pig, who she has passed. Poor dear, had a bout with cancer. She was an amazing, huge pig in West Hollywood, and I was Bella's buddy. When her mom was away. So a pig and a parrot, is that good enough for you?
That's good enough. I do have one to beat you, though. A friend of mine that was in
we throwing both. Okay.
Yeah,
Shots fired.
A friend of mine that was in the acting field actually donated 3 pets to me and everything as they moved to New York. I think they were moving to be a stage manager, and we lost touch because they gave their pets to various folks because they had geckos. So I had some pet geckos there for a while, and we were named Fettuccine because she named them all after Italian dishes. I think she was of Italian descent. So it's Fettuccine, Alfredo, and linguine. Those were the 3
I really
that I had.
wanted
I had Fettuccine, Alfredo, and linguine as my pet geckos. I'm still convinced to this day that because that was in the early days of the gecko commercial, that when I was living in that particular loft apartment, and whenever that commercial came on, they were sitting there going like, what's Uncle Fred doing on the TV, and why are we not having a starring role and everything? Because I'm still convinced that they were looking at that gecko going like, why is he on TV and we aren't on TV?
Who's this fool? Who do you think he is?
Exactly.
That's funny.
I love it.
All right. Well, y'all, I think, are probably at the end of our time and stretching it, and I want to respect Mary's time. So, Mary, any last gleaming jewels that you'd like to share?
Stop apologizing for yourself and start celebrating who you are.
And we end with that beautiful thing.
Matter of fact, we won't just end with that, but but I've got a PSA that fits in with that, and it's actually coming from the LGBT community, but it's called "Be Proud to Be You." So that's actually the name of this particular PSA. So this might be one that fits in with what Mary just said and everything. It's called "Be Proud and Be You."
You now, from this moment on, you get to surrender needing permission to be your full self. You don't need anyone's permission to be who you are. You must be who you are. We need you. The world needs who you are now.
So on that note, let's check out Be Proud, Be You.
Be proud, be you.
1 cafe latte for Dante.
Ma, I'm gay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
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 Sorry, I'm gay.
Sorry, I'm lesbian. Sorry, I'm bi.
Sorry, bakla. Sorry, I'm trans.
Sorry, I'm queer.
Sorry, I'm different.
Sorry. Mauna na ako.
Sir Dante!
No, I'm so sorry for staring. Ang ganda kasi ng lipstick mo. Where'd you find it?
Ay sir, ako po ang dapat mag-sorry. Nakalimutan ko po yung pastry nyo. Wait lang po ah.
Thank you. Kahit sino ka pa, I love you, anak.
You know that little voice in your head? The one that tells you to ignore a tasteless joke.
The one that tells you to keep quiet when a client makes a racist comment.
The little voice that tells you you're not smart enough because English isn't your first language.
Or that it's okay to judge someone for leaving early because they have family commitments.
The one that tells you not to say anything when others are being reduced to stereotypes.
Or that it's not a big deal when everyone's opinion isn't considered.
You may think you're the only one that hears that voice, but that voice also speaks to other people. It says, "You're different.
You're an outsider.
You lack commitment.
Your opinion doesn't matter."
Instead of listening to that little voice, you need to find yours and make it heard. It's time for all of us to speak up. Because when we change the dialogue, we can change our world.